don't stop running for office. We need women in these spaces. We need women to have meaningful participation in both digital spaces and digital platforms. My name is Tricia Gloria Nabaye. I'm the Advocacy and Engagement Lead at Pollicy. And Pollicy really works around, it's a feminist collective that works at the intersection of tech, design, and data. And our work really looks at data justice, digital rights, and we push really to collaborate with not only governments but also public and community to see that we push the agenda of digital rights and digital inclusion. Thank you very much. For the research that we've done, and that will be amplified abuse, bite bullies, and data disinfo, we used a lot of focus group discussions, data scraping, and data scraping is really looking at particular accounts. We collect some of the people that are running in office, particularly women in politics, and we data scrape and see what is happening in that community. How are they engaging online? What experiences do they have? And also part of that also is we actively do research and secondary research to get this information on not only technology facilitated gender-based violence, but also on other issues that are emerging in the digital space. Thank you very much. We have amplified abuse. Amplified abuse was a report that we conducted as Pollicy around the 2021 general election. And our push was to see what are the experiences of women in politics when it comes to online platforms. And it was particular because we were having the scientific, what they call the scientific elections, where a lot of the campaigning, a lot of the interactions with the citizenry was online. And so at the backdrop of that, we wanted to see what are the experiences of women in politics when it comes to digital platforms and online engagement. And that was amplified abuse. And so the revelation was over 76.7% of women experienced violence online and experienced abuse online. And so with that backdrop, when we looked at the different issues that were happening, from hate speech to trolling to defamation, we extended that research into what we call bite bullies. Bite bullies was the Kenyan version of amplified abuse, which we did around the 2022 general election. Again, it was to understand against the backdrop of the conversations we had with women in politics. We wanted to understand what women in Kenya experience when it comes to general elections. And again, we did some data scraping of their accounts to see what their experiences really look like. How do they experience disinformation, hate speech, trolling, deepfakes? So that was, the dynamic that we were working with. Then the other one is data disinfo. Really, for it looks at misinformation and disinformation around internet platforms. And so it's been critical for us to actively, track, particularly for women in politics and how they experience the world of, governance and democracy, to see what are the patterns, what are the trends, what are the possible solutions that we can avail to the realities of tech-facilitated gender-based violence, but also for their experience in politics and in governance. What we've realized is women face violence differently to men. Whereas men will experience violence and abuse as satire. It will be a joke cracked and it won't go anywhere. For women, a lot of that has even created harm and death at some points and in the extremes of it. So the patterns that we found is